Hey guys, I'm Alex from TechnoClass.com, and today we're checking out a new affordable quad-core tablet from Asus. It's called the Asus Memo Pad HD7. This is sort of the successor to the Memo Pad, which was a single-core device, I believe, or something like that, with a low-resolution screen. But this one is a Memo Pad HD7. As you can see, the name says HD, so it already has an HD screen. It has a quad-core MediaTek processor, so actually it should be able to pull its own weight, play some games and stuff like that. So it's very affordable, under 10,000 pesos. I will fill you in with the real price when it comes out. But yeah, this is the Memo Pad HD7, and we're checking it right now. Alright guys, so as previously mentioned, this is the Asus Memo Pad HD7, and the box opens like this, like a pizza box, and it's a little bit tapered on there, just like a wedge design. I don't know why that is, but here we go. So the tablet is right here. Hello. I'm wearing my Timo hat. So this is the tablet right here, as you can see. Let's boot it up and check out the other parts of the box as we explore a little bit. So on the box itself here, we have a USB charger. This is probably a micro USB charger, yeah, definitely. And here we have probably an auto volt charger. Yep, there you go. And interestingly, if you look in the box here, I don't know if you can see that over there. It says that you can use this little thing here just to use it as a stand for your tablet. Pretty nice little plastic little thing there. As an additional bonus for your device. But yeah, let's check out this tablet right here. This is obviously the Asus Memo Pad HD7, and it's booted up right now. I'm getting a couple of notifications, I guess. So this is a 7-inch 1280 by 800 IPS display. That is about the same, pretty much the same display as the Nexus 7 old school 2012 version right here. So this is still this is as well this is a 1280 by 800 IPS as well. Soda lime glass protecting the display right here, so it's not Gorilla Glass to prevent to make the the tablet a little cheaper. So as you can see right here, this is a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, an Asus logo over there, and that's about it for the front. On the left side, there is just a micro SD slot there for your expandable storage, which is nice because this is not available in the Nexus 7 versions of Asus tablets. Over on the left side, you have a volume rocker and a power and unlock key. Pretty much the same placement as the Nexus 7. So this is actually very similar to the Nexus 7 except for the camera. The old Nexus 7 2012. This is the speaker grill right there. This is supposedly a Sonic Master improved speakers there with stereo sound. And over on the top we have a 3.5mm headset jack with 3.5mm headset jack with a micro USB port for charging and data transfer. That might be a I don't know, that might be a reset button, because tablets usually have that because you can't remove the back to remove the battery. So over on the back face here, we have an Asus logo and a 5 megapixel camera here with no flash. So that's it for the parts. Let's check out the interface in a bit. I just want to say how thick this is, or actually how different this is. So almost the same thickness as the Nexus 7 2012 here. It feels a little thicker just by a hair, and a little heavier by a hair as well. Obviously this is a little bit more expensive than the Memo Pad HD7, which is but the Memo Pad HD7 has the micro SD card slot and the 5 megapixel camera, so that's what it's going for. So alright, let's check out the interface now.
Guys, don't forget to watch the Big Time Show.
Alright guys, so here we are checking out the interface of the Asus Memo Pad HD7. That's a lot of words. So this is running on Android 4.2 point something Jelly Bean. Actually, we should just check right now. As you can see, almost very stock interface except for this settings area here. Android 4.2.1. The settings area is white. and as you can see, it's a fairly usable, fairly smooth interface here. The processor is clocked at 1.2 gigahertz. The processor name is MediaTek 8125, which is kind of different from the usual quad-core devices out there. And as you can see right here, the pull-down menu is the Asus pull-down menu. You can change that in the settings to make it look like the stock Android pull-down menu, which is kind of interesting. You can toggle smart saving, battery, and stuff like that, as you can see right there. So very smooth interface here with the quad-core processor. This has 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 or 16 gigabytes of storage. You can buy two versions. I'll fill you in with the price when they come available. MicroSD card slot, as I mentioned before, so it's expandable storage. And there you go. One thing I noticed is that the notification bar over there does change color depending on what you're using. So for example, if I go to the menu, it turns into black. It turns yellow or whatever depending on what I'm using. So yeah, that's very interesting interface. Also, they changed the home button aspect here. As you can see, there are a bunch of shortcuts here: calendar, calculator, Supernote Lite, Asus Studio browser. Goes into applications, shortcuts, and stuff like that. Of course, you can still go to Google Plus if you wanted to, as you can see right there. So fairly usable interface, fairly standard, stock, or whatever you want to call it, with a little bit of light customizations here and there, and still very good, very usable indeed. Alright, so one thing you might notice is that there's an extra button on the left side here. This is called, I believe, Asus floating widgets, and these are basically sort of like multitasking widgets here. You can use a media player, audio wizard, calculator, unit converter, and stuff like that. Most typically, I'd probably use a calculator here, just so I can do some calculations on the move while I'm browsing or something like that. You can also open a calendar or a web browser, but usually web browser is hard to use with a small window. As you can see right there, it does open and it does work, so no problem there. A little bit, it slows down your system just a little teensy bit, but it is helpful when you want to multitask just that extra bit. It comes from the phone pad. I believe it came from the original phone pad, and it is pretty useful based on what you're doing. Alright, checking out the camera interface here, we have a pretty in-depth camera here with a lot of options here and there. Actually very fast interface here. If I press here, you can see it has panorama, beautification, HDR, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And so you have a bunch of filters and options here. That's your exposure compensation, everything. It takes pictures pretty well, pretty fast too. As you can see, there you go. And this one is for the video. 5 megapixel video, 5 megapixel still images and 1080p video, which is pretty good. The images that it comes out with are actually very nice, and I will show you that at the end of the video. Fairly decent camera, a little bit weaker on low light, but it does the job, and it's actually better than even most local brands and a lot of devices under 10,000 pesos. Alright guys, so checking out some benchmarks here. As you can see here on Quadrant, we have 33,965, and on Antutu we have 13,147. So that's about par for the course for a MediaTek processor. But yeah, the benchmarks is not everything. Let's check it out for some games right now. Alright guys, so here we are. This is your very standard Temple Run 2 test. Just to test out the response of the touchscreen, and it seems like it's working fine, no problem here. Gyro sensor works fine, as you can see right here, and looks like Temple Run 2 runs fine, no problem. You should be able to play this game, no problem at all. Yeah, so let's move on. Alright guys, so here we are playing Modern Combat 4. This is a popular first-person shooter on Android and iOS, I believe, and this is running obviously on the Asus Memo Pad HD7. Seems to be running fine to me. It's hard to play while recording. I'm looking at the screen of the camera, obviously. A little bit of a skip here and there, but nothing too serious to me. Let me see. Try and shoot while recording this. And gameplay looks fine. Graphics looks great. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just move around. I think I'm gonna die. There we go. So yeah, seems to be running fine on the Quad-Core MediaTek processor here. Then again, most of the Quad-Core MediaTeks seem to handle modern combat core fairly well. So let's change game, see how well it does elsewhere.
Selena in the back?
I confirm visual on Miss Kyle.
Keep an eye on the streets. Make sure no one's following.
I need to take him out silently.
Alright guys, I'm Batman. Alright guys, so we're back. And we're playing The Dark Knight Rises. This is a Batman game, obviously. And as you can see, a little bit of the glare on the display. And you can hear the sound of the speakers right here on the right side. Obviously, there's no speakers on the left side, which is a bit of a bummer. But that's typical for most tablets, no problem there. Speakers are loud enough, not a lot detail on the speakers, but it's still fairly loud, and it's actually pretty audible, nice and stuff. So we're playing Dark Knight Rises, I mentioned before, and it runs fairly well, as you can see right there. Seems like there's a bit of frame skips here and there.
We'll see if that name comes up in his system.
But the game seems to be playable, at least. There you go, there's some frame skips here and there. I think it's mostly because of the rain, I guess. But yeah, it looks like Dark Knight Rises is fairly usable, fairly playable on the Asus Memo Pad HD7. Alright guys, so here we are playing Asphalt 7. Unfortunately, we couldn't install Asphalt 8 on this tablet. And so we're trying Asphalt 7 here. This is where the tablet seems to have a little bit of a hiccup here. Maybe the slightly different MediaTek processor is not too good for Asphalt games. But there's a little bit of a frame skip here and there on this game. Slightly harder to play than usual MediaTek games. Playing Asphalt on MediaTek at least. It is still playable, I guess. But we'd rather have more frames per second than what this is manifesting, I guess. Let me try and I can't get enough Nitro. I'm sorry, Nitro. But yeah, a little bit framey on this game. So it's probably not for all games out there. So that's just it, I guess. Alright guys, so I think that's about it for the Asus Memo Pad HD7. I think it's a very, very good tablet, at least under 10,000 pesos. It's very price attractive, at least. And if you're a fan of the old Nexus 7, the previous version, this is it's a cheaper product. But it's not cheaper in terms of specs or anything. It even gives you a 5 megapixel camera and a microSD card slot. It's a little bit thicker, a bit weirder build quality. But you do get a little bit of Asus customizations here and there, which is kind of nice. I think this is great for students. This is a great gift for dads or students and stuff like that. Somebody who you don't have to give them the highest end device out there. Or if you're a big budget conscious person and only have 8,000 bucks or so in your pocket and want a quad-core tablet with you can play some games in, or you need the micro SD card slot and stuff like that, camera. This is a great tablet for you. About 8 to 10,000 pesos. There's the 8 gig version and the 16 gig version, so there's the price discrepancy there. 5 megapixel camera is great. So I'm going to give you the pros and cons here. The performance is great. The quad-core processor, this is one of the better quad-core processors under 10,000. Probably one of the only quad-core processors, at least for an Asus brand or international brand out there. The display is great. So 1280 by 800 IPS display looks really good. A little bit of flare there if you put it out to the sun. I believe it's slightly more flary than the Nexus 7 2012, as you can see right here. Great camera. The camera is pretty good. The app is really good. The camera app is really good as well. Micro SD port obviously is a good addition, and some Asus customizations are actually kind of helpful. So the cons here, not the best build, not the most premium build here. A little thicker, little plastic here and there, and would like a little bit more premium design, like this Nexus 7 2013 here, right here. Super thin, super nice, super sexy actually. Also the gaming performance is a little less than the Nexus 7 2012, which is not a big deal. It's just a little less than the Nexus 7, and this guy has a camera and a micro SD card slot, and it's cheaper than the Nexus 7. So there you go. This is the Asus Memo Pad HD7. We're gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. So it's a pretty good product, if you ask us. I'm Alex from technoclass.com. Thanks for watching. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and as always, if you liked the video, please press the like button below. Add it to your favorites and or share it to your friends. If you got something to say, drop a comment in the comment box as well. Of course, more importantly, you should hit the subscribe button on top. This will keep you up to date with our new uploads and helps us out tremendously too. That's it guys, see you next video.